shores lie, baby, you're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right. Hey, here we are. Back for another round. Happy Thursday. Cold Thursday in January. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Everybody hanging in there doing pretty well? Yeah.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, literally the calm before the storm, and the calm before the storm with this show. Because I tell you what, I can't tell you how many people have been chiming in. When are they coming on? Someone even got on one of the pages. Want to know if we would send a reminder to them. You guys happen to see that?
Yeah, I got the reminder too.
Yeah. So we popped. Jenny put a little reminder up there yesterday, and so tonight we got an awesome group of guests tonight, and three of which are people. One of which happens to be a ship tonight, and which is
people.
I'm not going to say that very often, but three are going to be people, and then
it's not AI tonight, baby.
One happens to be a mode of transportation. Yeah, so our topic for the night is going to be the Orca, and I want to say I'm calling it the 2025 Orca, so that there's no confusion. It's just an amazing thing, and we happen to have one of the mates sitting with us already at the moment, and that would be Nick Hadley, who is on the pages all the time. Nick,
how's it going?
Nick, listen, it is so good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Boys, smiling away.
We got a couple people just chiming in and saying hello already. Yeah, so very nice. So Robert's joined us. A handful of people are chiming in and just kind of saying hello and welcome. And Nick, you're looking a little different. Last time I saw you, lamb chop, little mustache.
I did.
Hat,
I shaved, and I think I got my last haircut actually the day after Mike left.
No kidding.
So I'm in winter mode. I had the full beard the other day. I just lost it Monday, so
yeah,
I'm getting ready for summer again.
On January 22nd.
Yeah.
Hey, I believe we got someone else knocking on the door here, so let's bring them in. Hey,
wow.
Check it out. I think we have the rest of the crew just showed up. Look at that. We happen to have.
We're not talking about going down the pond now for tummy cuts.
Awesome. So you guys at home, we now have the rest of the crew. And Mike, I've been calling the boat the Orca, the 2025 Orca. Not to confuse, but we now have the rest of the crew. So we've got Nick, we have Mike Sterling, we have his son Jack Sterling, and we have the Orca broadcasting live from the Orca, and Nick is broadcasting live from Amity Island, Edgartown himself. So we are completely represented here tonight. So that is
and
awesome.
Amity is a yard.
Oh my gosh!
It's surprisingly enough, we have no accent here.
I know, right? You never know it's not.
I know that. Yeah.
I didn't notice any accent.
No, not at all.
No. So funny.
I say yard.
Yeah,
yard. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that when I go over there, you don't see that unless it happens to be someone probably visiting like I am, I would assume. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny because as soon as you leave the island, you get people, even in Falmouth, just the first town on the mainland, you'll find the accent there plenty. It's just
get
a little draw.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, in the movie, nobody had an accent really. I don't remember anybody having, except Quint, I guess, but most of the townspeople didn't have that weird accent.
No.
Which makes sense because they were Islanders. So yeah. We do have a couple people. We got Chelsea, we got James, a handful of other people that are chiming in and just saying hello and how excited they are to be here, hanging out with you guys tonight. So very cool. So real quick,
what the?
We just went PG on the show here today. We're all good here.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick, if I could, I have to put a little shameless plug out there. uh, for another set of what we consider Jaws family members tonight. So the Conways, who were on the island, met you guys in the 50th. Jim Conway, right north, sent me this shirt. They live down in the Carolinas, and their daughter goes to a middle school,
Oh
and they
yeah, she's a
actually
sweetie.
they're. So you got to see the back of the shirt. This is their school. Look at the back. You know, if you can see the back of the shirt here at all.
Oh wow,
Fear the
Oh,
Fin.
I like that.
nice.
I like that logo.
Yeah.
So, I got to say, I might be putting in some job applications down in the Carolinas. But I wanted to drop a little plug in there for them. It was very thoughtful. They sent it to me, so I told them to make sure and watch because I'd be wearing it for them. But if we could start off with a question, so before we get it, really dive into the Orca, Nick, how did you get hooked up with Mike and Jack in the boat?
Well, I don't really remember all the details, but I talked to Mike before on one of the Jaws pages on Facebook, and in the summer once in a while I'll dress up like Quint and take my boat around, and Mike had seen that and started talking and said he needed a hand with somebody with a boat and knows the local waters around, and honestly, who would say no to that, you know? I
Exactly.
jumped at the opportunity.
Exactly.
You did a little bit more than that. You did a little bit more than that, Nick. You went down and scoped out the marina. He scoped out the shipyard because he used to work there.
I did a little running. Found some emergency boat launch ramps we could fit the Orca in, and
Yeah, that's it. You know, the only thing that seemed like it was a bit cumbersome was the fact that you guys happen to have, at least from my experience of being on the island in June, a heat wave hit in the June when you're out there wearing an army jacket and jeans and everything else.
Hot as
It-
can
it-
be.
the day Mike got down, I was going to meet him up in my boat, and I was just going to follow him around, and well, I'm sure we'll get to the details of that, but I had the jacket on and everything, and I was leaving Eggertown Harbor, and I had to rethink that plan because it was like 90 degrees that day, like 85 or something, and it's just too much. I don't know how Quint did it, but it gets a little breezy on the ocean, so
Sure. Well, let's dive a little bit into the boat per se. I mean, usually you dive out of the boat, but we're going to dive into the boat here per se.
Oh, wow.
And while we're doing that, I actually have a little surprise for you guys. That you might have remembered this guy, maybe not. It's hard to forget this guy because he tends to tower over anyone on Amity Island, including myself, and that is a good friend. Jamie Saunders wanted to hop on real quick just to say a little something.
Hey,
How are you, Jamie?
Hey, how are you?
how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Awesome.
Awesome. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I just wanted to, I wanted to actually say to Michael real quick. It was amazing meeting you in June. We're all here for one reason, because we love Jaws. I've been, as you guys are, I've been absolutely just fascinated and addicted to the movie for 50 years, ever since I saw it when I was 3 years old. And I had nothing but fantasies about seeing the Orca in real life. And it wasn't until years later that I found out that it was not kept up and destroyed and everything else. But I used to, as a little kid, I would build little orcas out of like shoe boxes and stuff, just to pulp it and everything. And I just was absolutely fascinated by the boat. And because of you guys, your passion, your dream, and you built the Orca, but you put me on that boat, and you allowed me, Michael, to jump on the boat and walk around for a minute and take some pictures. And I have some pictures of me sitting in the chair and up on the flybridge and stuff. And I can't thank you enough. You made a 50-year dream come true. And all my pictures from the 50th anniversary are, without a doubt, my favorite ones are the ones of me on the Orca. And when I show people those, they think it's the real boat. They think it's the original boat. I just wanted to thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for not breaking my ribs when you give me that big bear hug when you tell me.
Well,
That was actually, I wasn't, like, on that note, insurance wise, I was not supposed to have anybody on the boat, right? I was told that you cannot have people on the boat. So everybody who came on board was I was kind of risking it a little bit. But you know what? It was, when I tracked you as well, setting off with your truck all plastered up. So I was actually we were watching you, watching us, watching them, watching you.
well, I can't thank you enough, because it's like, those pictures just take me right back, on top of meeting all my friends that I'd never actually met before, but finally got to meet in Martha's Vineyard. You put me on that boat, and I will never forget that. And it was amazing to meet you. And I just thank you for making a 50-year dream come true for me, because I waited. I felt like Robert Shaw was going to walk out from inside the pulpit. That's how real it was for me.
It was certainly the whole thing. I was talking to Ned just earlier before the show. I didn't know what to expect going up there, but I didn't expect the reception, and I had no idea. Believe me, I had no idea what was coming. It was just unbelievable. The whole thing. It seems like a dream, to tell you the truth. It kind of feels like it was a dream, because it was all just kind of so surreal and happening in real time. It was. Well, Jack says now, when we were there, he was like, I'm hungry, because he's like 12 years old. And he was like, no, he's like, oh, I wish we were back there. I can't believe it. That was fantastic. I wish we were back there.
Come back. Please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Well, I'm eternally grateful, and we all are. And the fact that you were so generous, and you knew that by letting people on, maybe you shouldn't have been doing it insurance reasons, but you did it because you knew everybody was just dying to be on there, speaks to your character. And just thank you so much. Words aren't enough. And
people like you make it worthwhile, of all of the hard nights and 9 years in the process of making it. You make that moment there makes it worthwhile for me.
Absolutely.
What can I say? It's fulfilled. The mission's fulfilled right there, if you're happy with it.
Oh, happy doesn't even cover it. But thank you very, very much, and love all you guys, and thank you. And
thank you, Jamie.
Hey,
We'll talk to you soon.
Love you, Sandy.
Brother.
For sure. Thank you. Love you, Nate.
Hey, love you, brother. Thanks, man.
Take care.
See ya. All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of the background. You guys give us a little bit of background here on the Orca. So tell me how this started. How did it come off, Mike?
How did it come up? I'm a boat builder by trade, and I wanted a boat, so I decided I'm going to get a wooden boat to show people what I can do. And if I'm going to get one, I'm going to build the Orca. That was the decision. So I got Matt Taylor's book, and I took a picture of the Warlock, and I sent it out, because these boats are from up north, Nova Scotia, Maine. They're like a northern, but you don't see wooden boats like that in Florida. So I sent out the picture of the Warlock to yacht brokers, and I said, please share this with any other yacht brokers. I'm looking for a boat with the same hull shape as this, round about 38 foot, whatever. Let me know what you get. And this was one of the first boats that I looked at, and it was up in Maine, and it was a bit of a basket case. It was on a driveway. It was in a heck of a state. And it was too small. It told me it had a 9'6" beam, and that it was only 32 foot long. So I'm like, well, it's too small. So I kind of just put it on the back burner. Then I looked at maybe about another 10 boats over the space of a year, and ended up actually going back to this. And when I said to him, can you just do me a favor? Can you go outside and measure it with a tape measure? And he put 2 bits of wood down the side on his driveway and measured across. And he came back in from the house and he said, oh, actually it's 10'6" beam on it, and it's 35 foot long. And I was like, right, okay. And so I ended up buying it sight unseen, which is ridiculous for a wooden boat.
Oh,
No survey, nothing. But I did steal it off him. I didn't pay much money for it, but it cost me more to ship it than it did for the boat. Let's put it that way. And that was when it turned that. So then I bought it, sent on the money, and this was when it turned up in my friend's shipyard in Florida. That was the day it turned up. And I looked at it on the trailer and I was like, wow, it's actually better than I thought it was. Look at it because it looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then that's when the nightmare started, because the crane driver who was going to take it off was off sick. Nobody would lift the boat off without insurance. The truck driver was charging me $100 an hour waiting time.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
Wow.
Trying to find anybody who would take the boat off the trailer, and I found a little guy in a little old shipyard called Cozy Cove. His travel lift looked like it belonged in a museum. And so I got the truck driver, went round to his on the main road, and we took the boat off there in the middle of the street for cash. I gave him some cash. He said, just get it off the trailer. And then I had a trailer that I'd bought for the boat that wasn't converted. So I brought the trailer in, went to Home Depot, got some 6x6 beams, and basically put it on the trailer and just chopped it all up with 6x6 beams, and then towed it with. I only had a Chevy 3500 panel van. I towed that back to the shipyard. The thing weighs like 15,000 pounds.
I was going to say, I think you were a little bit over your gross tongue weight there, weren't you?
Yes, yeah, it was, but it wasn't. They said it was 15,000, but it's not. We had it weighed. It's more like 13 to 14,000. But so that was the day. That there was the day that it turned up, and you couldn't wipe the smile off my face. And I was actually working on a classic boat for a guy, and it's named Checkers after Winston Churchill's boat. And he came off the boat and he said, what a beautiful boat this is. And he's like, you're going to work on it. And he made me, I said, I'm going to turn it into the Orca. And he was like, he's like really well spoken. Oh, you can't possibly do that to such a beautiful boat. You can't possibly promise me you won't cut it up and turn it into the Orca. And I said, I can't promise you that. I said, it's so that, but yeah, that was the first day. That picture there is, and obviously when I probed into it, it was worse than I thought.
Well, and the process started, and this process started quite a few years ago, correct? Am I right by saying it was like around 9 years ago you got this? You got started on this?
We're into 10 years now.
wow.
Wow.
Well, wait on. 2016 is when I got it. So what's that? That's 10 years this year. So basically, but I actually bought it without telling my wife.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
That's dangerous.
Well, I figured it was easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
That's the truth. Yeah.
I was going to say, either way, I got you covered because this is being recorded live on YouTube. So you can deny it all you want. You got it now.
You know the story. So that's I kind of hid it. I hid it away in my friend's shipyard, and then I eventually took it to my shop. But that was, I don't know whether you've got time for a quick story, but so we're going to my brother's wedding in Sacramento, and it's at a whole private hotel, and so we get to the wedding, and I still haven't told her, and I'm like, I'll tell her at the wedding, I'll get her some champagne, and I'll tell her about the boat. So the wedding's there. Our uncle marries them in the garden of the hotel, and it's a fantastic wedding. So we're sitting on the top table after, and I'm sat next to my brother-in-law, and I said to him, hey, look, Jeff, this is the latest project. I'm going to turn this into the Orca. And he went, does Kelly know about it? And I said, no, I haven't told her yet. When's a good time to tell her? He said, how about never? So hey, let me see that. And he says to his wife, hey, Leslie, look at this. Mike's building the Orca. And she goes, oh, Uncle Carl would have liked that. And I said, who's Uncle Carl? She said, oh, that's the guy who married you. That's my Uncle Carl. And I said, oh, is he a Jaws fan? She said, no, he's Carl Gottlieb. And I was like, she said, oh, he's already gone home. I said, it's a good job because I would have tortured him.
Oh my
Your
God.
uncle is Carl Gottlieb. What's the chances of that?
Wow.
Jeez, that's a connection.
I told my wife, and she said, wait till we get home.
Well, I've never just brought a boat home without seeing anything. I used to bring cars home without telling my wife, but they had wheels. I could push them out of the way a little quicker. I would imagine you didn't quite have that convenience, right?
It's the same thing, just a little bit bigger.
You should have a place to sleep if he was really mad at you.
This is true. Hey, we do have a couple people chiming in here. A lot of people hopping on here, just over the moon, meeting you guys and hearing about the boat. We've got at Brittle 70. Hey, Mike and Jack, looking good, guys. Killer hat, Nick.
That's Steve. Steve gave us these hats. I love this hat. It's got the crew, the mate.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, Steve brought them
nice.
to us.
Somewhere.
That's awesome. We've got, oh my gosh, we got Jamie posting up a couple comments. Oh, yeah. Crystal McGinn. Kelly Devlin saying, I did not get a chance to see the boat, so I didn't make it to the 50th. Kofi Owen here just saying it looks absolutely awesome. Incredible replica of the boat. It really is. And just as much, as much as maybe, you think that the boat was the stars, what really made it for me was, at least when I was there, was spending the time and talking to you guys, because all of you are extremely personable. I could tell that all of you were doing this not for any other reason than the fact that you truly love what you do, and you were very big on trying to share that with everyone. And that takes a special individual, because there's a lot of us that are into this, and there's a lot of people that like to do things or maybe collect things. But in my opinion, when you're willing to cross that line, where you're willing to put your own time and effort into things to try and share them out with other people, what you enjoy as well, and hopefully to see them get the same enjoyment that you have, that is really commendable. And I really want to say that, because I don't think you guys are even a little bit overshadowed by that boat. As incredible as that boat is, if it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be taking place anyway. So I commend all of you. Incredible.
Well, fantastic. Nick's a rock star as well. But just to let you know, I brought the boat up there on my own dime, by the way. Narragansett gave me $1,000 towards fuel. That was $1,800 for the fuel to drive it up there. It was 4 days up and 4 days back with a truck and trailer. So that was on my dime, that. And I don't care, right? Because that was mine and Jack's. That was our holiday. We slept on the boat on the way up in truck stops, and we stayed on the boat. It was like the ultimate father-son camping trip in the summer, basically. So I wasn't doing it for financial gain, or I was doing it to share it with people. And the fact, I would have let everybody come on the boat if it wasn't for the insurance. Trust me, the people who asked me, there was people offering me money, and I said, look, I can't. And they're like, well, they've just been on the boat. And I was like, well, they're family. And they're like, how much family do you have? I said, oh, Lord.
Well, and talking, I would go past the boat every day, because where I stayed wasn't too far up the road. I was either out. That's how I ran into you guys. I was out going for a run that morning, and I heard that the boat was going to come in the night before, but was going to be over in Edgartown. And I happened to, someone tipped me off that it happened to be sitting down in Oak Bluffs by Nancy's, and went for a run down there. And that's, when I met you guys and started talking to you guys, and every time I went past, Nick was out there talking to people or doing a couple things on board. You guys were on, or if you guys were out, he was manning things. And, just no matter what you were doing, you always had time to at least say hi and, answer questions and things of that nature. And
that's only because you took them donuts that morning.
That's true. That's true.
And I have the pictures to prove it.
Well, I felt that I had to do something, because I just felt that you guys were, your generosity and your willingness to share their story. I mean, I was nobody, and I was just talking to you guys, and 15 minutes later, if you said, we're not, opening up or in the boat, 15 minutes later, you guys had me on the boat, and you had me in the cabin, and we're sitting down having a conversation, and you're apologizing because you hadn't cleaned up because you just got into town the night before. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Do you have any idea where I am right now? I mean, really, my feet didn't touch the deck for very long, because I was on such an incredible high. But again, I want to point out the importance of the fact that you guys are just so approachable, just so awesome to talk to. I felt I had to do something for you guys. Because
I wasn't in the Jaws community, to tell you the truth, right? I like active in any of the Jaws communities apart from the Jaws 50th one. But I had no idea. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know anybody. I took basically, Nate, I took you on face value, right? You seemed like a really nice guy. You were sporting some donuts and some coffee, which that always goes down pretty well. But,
I thought it was too early for beer, so.
Other people brought them. There are plenty of people with beer.
Yeah, Nick, I mean, Nick, when I was going to different events and stuff, Nick would come down with his family and stay and watch the boat for me and stuff. Nick,
It was torture.
Friend, that's a piece of
It was torture.
You stay on the Orca. What a horrible.
When you were shipping the boat up and you were parking for the night and everything, did you have people come up to you and recognize the boat and ask about it?
Oh my goodness, you don't even. That's another story. Bringing the boat up's another total other story. We had 3 wheelbarrows go out on the day before Father's Day in Baltimore. 3 wheelbarrows came off the trailer, and I spent Father's Day in the Tractor Supply car park trying to find wheelbarrows for the trailer, and some guy came out on Sunday and managed to scratch them up. But we were basically, people were turning up at trailer park at the Tractor Supply and just looking at it, and some lady, I'm covered in grease, I've got the bearings, all the pieces on the trailer. She comes up and she taps me on the shoulder and she says, "Look at that there," and she's got goosebumps. She said, "That's because of this." She said, "I'm a big Jaws fan." She said, "Is there any chance I can get on board to take a look?" I said, "Listen, sweetheart, if you've got some wheelbarrows in the trunk of your car, I'll give you the guided tour." She's like, "I've got no wheelbarrows." I said, "Listen, I would love to." And then the guy who fixed the wheelbarrows, who came out, he's a one-man band and he's struggling. He has kids and everything. This is on Father's Day. And I said to him, "What are you doing working Father's Day? Have you got kids?" He said, "Yeah, but I have to provide for them." So he spent 7 hours and he went off and he came back and he found bearings off his friends and we got it all together. And Jason, they call him, right? What a unsung hero, what a superstar. And I said to him, "Jason, what do I owe you?" He put new hubs on, new bearings. We've got some from Tractor Supply lent us the tools. So I said, "Jason, what's it going to cost me?" And I'm thinking like $2,000, $3,000. He goes, I used it. He said, it's going to be $500. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Look, I've got 6 there, 600. I said, "Stay there. I'll be right back." And I climbed on the board. And when I travel, I always carry a couple of silver dollars with me so I got one of the silver dollars and I said, came back down. I said, "If you can catch this, you can have it." And I flipped the coin to him and he caught it and he said, "What's that?" I said, "It's an American silver dollar." He said, "I've never seen one of them before." I said, "Well, it's yours now." He said, "What do I do with it?" I said, "Keep it for good luck, give it to your kids." I said, "I don't know." I said, "That's my appreciation for you helping me out." I said, "You're a superstar." What a nice guy. The people we met on people were running us off the road and pulling in front of us, and yeah. So did people? So yeah, absolutely. We got stalked.
Unbelievable. And the trials and tribulations that you had just getting it up, getting it on the island, and getting it in the water, mirrors the trial and tribulations of shooting the movie Jaws. I mean, I remember, you telling me a little story about trying to get through and getting stuck in New York City for a night.
Oh my goodness! In the Bronx, we were stuck in the Bronx. We went in and it was height. The GPS took us in. When we got in there, there was height restrictions everywhere because we're 13'6" with the board on, and there was height. So we got in, but we basically couldn't get back out. So we ended up parked in an abandoned parking lot at midnight, and we tried to truck us up to get out and had to back up a freeway exit with people yelling at us, and it's raining, and then so we're in the car park and Jack's like, "I need to take a pee." And I said, "Jack, there's no pee against the fence. Do what you want, right? We're here for the night. We're on the boat. I'm going to get Quint's machete. We'll sleep here in the truck tonight. When it's daylight, we'll figure this out." I said, "Because I've had enough." So he's taking a pee in the thing and I'm peeing against the trailer that's pitch black. And then I hear a voice behind. There's a car behind us with a guy in a truck with an electric vehicle on the trailer on the back. And he said, wound the window down. He said, "Hey, buddy, yeah, I guess you lost. You don't want to be around here this time of night." And I said, "Go figure." Right. So I go over and I said, "Do you know how to get out of here?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, I'll give you $100 if you can tell us how to get out of here." And he goes, no, you don't need $100. And he goes on the Google Maps, he writes us a thing. I said, "Look, take the $100 and show us where to go. Like, we'll follow you out." He said, "No, I've got somewhere to be." I said, "What, you're delivering a car at 12 o'clock at night?" I said, "Where are you going to be?" I said, "No, come on, just let us follow you." And he said, No. He said, "You'll be all right. I promise you, you'll be good." And so I get back in the truck and he's given us the directions and we get in. And I said, "Jack, where did that guy come from?" He said, "I don't. What did you say?" He said he's zoned in or something.
The shadow.
But he came. So then we pull out of the parking lot and we look behind to say bye to him. And this is only one exit in and one exit out, and he's gone. Like that. Guardian angel stuff, I kid you not, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Directions were they took us back on and back down to the George Washington Bridge and out, and then we got going. But so many stories like that. But Nick needs to tell you the story if you're on about trials and tribulations of when we turned up. Nick came round to meet us with his boat to shadow us because we were taking it from the
Vineyard
Haven round to Oaks Bluff. So he came with his boat so he could shadow us if anything went wrong. You tell the story, Nick. Come on.
Well, I was just floating them around because the shipyard here is a little strict with their dock space. So I was just floating around in the harbor, just going in and out of gear to keep myself, because one of the tall ships, the Shenandoah, is right behind me, and I don't want to bump into that. Sure. And I go forward, and I'm just revving the engine, and water's shooting out of my pumps and everything, and I'm not moving. So I was literally dead in the water, and my shift linkage came undone. So I called the harbor master. She came out, pulled me and my boat over to their dock. I know the harbor master there, let me keep it there till I could fix it. They drove me back over to Mike, and this is when it gets good. They're putting it all together, getting in. I go up, start helping Mike tie the barrels down. We put it in the water. I'm up on the fly bridge. Well, first it's a little rough. Let me start at the beginning. The water was rough. It was windy. And I told Mike, my boat's down. I'm not going to be able to shadow you guys out there. And Mike didn't know if it was a good idea. We didn't know. And he said, can you get someone? I said, let me make a few calls. I'll try and get someone down here. No one was available. So Mike says, "What do you think? Should we do it?" I said, "Let's do it." So we go out, and it's like 6-foot waves, and in a wooden boat that is essentially a working movie prop. Because, I mean, you're not going to see a lot of lobster boats flying around with a 40-foot mast on it. And we went on an adventure. We had a girl from the newspaper came on with us, and I don't think she's ever going on a boat again. It's like 6-foot waves. We're going over them. And we're trying to find a flat spot so we can turn it around, because Vineyard Haven Harbor and Oak Bluffs Harbor are right on top of each other. You go out, you turn around, and you go back in.
Yeah.
It should have been a 10-minute ride in the Orca. It's not a cigarette boat going super fast, but we couldn't get a flat spot to turn it around. So we ended up trying to go out, and took a chance and went to turn it, and a big wave came, and I looked out the window, and I saw the water right there. I thought it was right over the gunnel there, and
the gunnels.
We didn't go in, but
really
could have. But I mean, this was after we'd already lost steering in the fly bridge, so I came down and drove from down there, and a compression fitting failed, and hydraulic fluid shot everywhere. Mike, fast on his toes, put a bolt right in the hose, and we just drove it in from downstairs. But it was as true to the legend of the Orca as it could ever be.
What about the generator down the hatch?
Oh my God, yeah. No, we're turning when we hit that wave and we're about to roll over. The generator falls into the open hatch, hits the drive shaft, knocks that out of place. So we have almost no reverse, and it was anything. It was like Murphy's Law of boating. If I had bad luck to bring a banana and I had no bananas. And I may have whistled. It's bad luck to whistle as well, but I mean, anything I could have done, I probably did. But I mean, Mike saved the day with that bolt in the hose.
We made it in, and then when we did get in, so it's getting late, and we're on the last slip next to Nancy's. So Nick's driving, I've got the lines and everything, and he turns it around perfectly to back us into the slip, and then he puts it in reverse gear. And when the generator went down, it knocked the linkage off the reverse gear. So he puts it in, and it wouldn't go into reverse gear. So we had no reverse gear to put it in the slip. So we had to basically lasso the post and pull ourselves in, and it wasn't very pretty, right? And all of the people in Nancy's bar are all drinking. It's Friday.
Oh God!
Let out drive, loser!
Yeah. I thought about witness protection.
So we got a question on Facebook. What are the size? I know it's a little smaller. What is the difference between the original Orca and yours, size-wise?
Right. Well, let's put this to bed then properly, right? Because, and I know this 100% because I built the board using the dive tank as a reference, using the stove as a reference, using the porthole as a reference. I use the actual items that I have on the board as references for the size of the board. So she's actually smaller. This might sound crazy. In the cabin, it's smaller by 6 inches, right? Which is it's a 3-inch board either side, right? It's in the cabin in the width, it's 6 inches narrower. So from the center line, it's 3. It's 1 tongue and groove board narrower in the width. Lengthwise of this cabin, 100% exactly the same. This is it, guaranteed, right? Wow. Because I hooked up with what's his name, Court, Marty, who built the one that was at the museum.
Yeah,
I actually used a lot of his detail and everything, and he helped me with it, right? And his Court's interior is 100% the right width and everything, and also but lengthwise of the board, I was thinking that I was short by about 6 inches on the length because I added 6 inches to the transom on the back on the board because it didn't have to put the Orca transom. That's actually the original transom is still underneath there, and I built on the back of it. But lengthwise, I built the cage to spec. It's exactly, and I put the cage on, and I've got 3.5 chum barrels between the cage and the thing, so I'm 1 inch shorter in the cockpit in length. So and the barrels, where the barrels go, they're the right size barrels and the fit. So it's I think it's 36 foot the board. So the Orca, on my reckonings from what I did on the measurements, the original Orca at the widest part of the beam, because she had a really fat belly on her. This board here goes and then skinnies out a bit and doesn't have such a fat belly at the widest part. So the Orca was between 11'4" and 11'6" at the widest part of the beam, and she was between 36 and 37 foot, right? So is it smaller? Yes, it is, because I was driven by I can only work to the dimensions of the boat that I had, which is a 10'6" beam, and so it's the whole beam of the board. I stole some off the walkways, and I scaled things down a bit. But where I went wrong, which throws your eye off on the board, is when I was building it, the Orca, I would bump my head on the Orca, right? When I was in courts at the museum, my head touches the roof because I'm 6'4". I pushed this up 2.5 inches because I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going to bump my head every time I'm going on my own board. So I pushed it up, and it reads higher, so it makes it look narrower because it's 2.5 inches, which is this higher, and you read the front windows as well, because the front windows are 2.5 inches higher in the panel. So is it smaller? Yes, absolutely, it's smaller, but not what you would think. And it's got the same draft, the whole shape is the same exactly. So it's not. That's why I call it my representation of the Orca. I don't call it an Orca replica, right? Because it's not an exact replica. But it's pretty. I'll tell you what, it's pretty close. And sitting in here, I know that that's the right length. and the width. You're talking about, see this board here, look, see that? That one board, that's how much narrower it is, right, on each side. So it's that much. And I only
close.
on the return, right? I didn't take it on the interior. I took it out of the little return where the windows are. So is it close? And does it bother me? Yeah, of course it bothers me, but I can't make it any bigger than what the board is.
Right.
But is it? People say it's smaller. It's smaller. It's smaller. Yes, but no. This length is not. That's 100%. So
I
what do you?
don't know how much I would worry about.
Everyone, right? I can't please everybody. I didn't, and you got to remember, I didn't build this for this reason. I built this for me and my son as a project, right? I never built it. Nobody paid me and said, "Mike, go and build an exact replica." By the way, if anybody's out there who wants me to build them an exact one, and they've got plenty of money, come knocking on the door and I'll build you one.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys at home, there are a bunch of people chiming in with some questions and comments. We are kind of filtering and going through, and I am going to be adding some of this. So if you did put up a question, please be patient because we're going to kind of move along here as we go. But Crystal McGinn put up two questions. Number one, she said, "Michael, is that a Liverpool accent?" She lives over in your neck of the woods, or from where you're originally from.
I'm from near a little town called Hartlepool. It's just south of Newcastle, but I was born in Newcastle, which is like 70 miles off the Scottish border on the northeast coast of England. But Liverpool, where I'm from, they're a shipbuilding town. We're more or less the same type of people.
Yeah.
Built the Titanic.
Scotland. Yep.
And someone asks if your boat is seaworthy. Well, I want to tell you guys, I'm bringing him in full screen right now. They are sitting in the boat. That's where they're talking to us from. They are on the water, sitting at a slip. You can actually see the boat rocking a little bit in the background. So to answer your question, there you go.
Yeah, we were out 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were out tagging sharks with the Oceans First and Seakeepers Society out there in the ocean in a good 4 foot, 5 foot swell with doctors and oceanographic people. There you go. Look,
my God!
Was that the tiger shark or was that a nurse shark?
That's the hammerhead.
Oh, that's a hammerhead
That's
shark.
a hammerhead, yeah.
And
Is that you, Jack?
Tagged it, put a tag in its fin, measured it for length. Did they take a blood sample or not?
Yeah, they did.
Took a blood sample of it, and they had divers in the water. We had two support vessels with us as well, but we had all of the oceanographic people on our boat. That was it.
Cool. That.
Oh, wow.
That was I can't even. I'm still thinking about that. That was such an amazing thing. But
this was out of Fort Lauderdale.
on the reef off Fort Lauderdale, we set 7 drum lines along the reef. And then we caught a few sharks. A couple there was a big one, a big thing that we fought for like an hour and a half altogether. And then ironically, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same as what Quint did. They use buoys, but on the tag line. So you put a big weight down, and then on the bottom of the weight you have a swivel on it. So the sharks take the bait. The drum line is on the bottom of the water. The sharks take the bait. And it gives them the freedom to swim round the drum line so it doesn't hurt them. Then you bring the drum line up, and as you're bringing it up, you bring the shark in, reel it in, and then there's clip lines, and each time you bring it up, you clip a buoy onto the line, which brings them closer to the surface. Bring them to the surface. So we fought this shark for an hour and 30 minutes, and we were on the last buoy on the last clip. So they've got 4 buoys on the boat, and they've clipped the last one on. And the shark, you could see the shadow of the shark, and it was huge. I mean, this was a big shark, right? And so what happens is the shark runs. The guy's got the line in his hand, and the shark runs. And I had a captain driving the boat for me, and he said, "Let it go. Do you want me to back down on it?" I said, "No." He said, "Let the line go." So he let the line go. And one of the buoys caught on the side of the boat, and snapped the line, and we lost the shark.
Oh,
everybody went, "Oh!" Everybody stood there, right? Because this is an hour and a half into it. They're all stood on the back, and I'm like, "Listen, you can't win everyone," and everybody was totally bummed. And
I
then
bet
so we're
so.
like, okay, we've been out here 6 hours now. We've tagged their sharks. We've tagged the tiger shark. It's time to gather up the stuff. So we're gathering up all the things, and there's one missing. And we'd had porches as well. We chased some porches off. We were poaching one of the. We chased them down in the Orca. They were off over to the Bahamas, and we went out to sea and chased them down. Can you imagine? That's what they saw coming at them. Like the porches, not coming at them.
So put that into perspective for a minute. You're out there doing something illegal, and not a Coast Guard boat, not the damn Quint and the damn Orca is chasing you down because you're doing something illegal. Really? Come on. It just doesn't, even if I was the one out there doing something illegal and I saw that, I would just stop in awe and go, "You've got to be kidding me! Like, what is going on here?"
Yeah, I would have given up.
They headed out to sea, and we had them on a transit. And every time they changed course, we couldn't catch them because it only does 12 knots. And then they eventually realized we were after them, and they stopped. We caught up to them. There was 7 divers on a really raggy old boat, and the captain I had on Mike, right? He's my size, and he goes, "Hey, what are you guys up to?" And they went, "Oh, we were just checking that out." And he goes, "Oh, well, okay then, but we've had people taking our lines." And he said, all right, as long as you're just looking at it, that's fine. They were after stay, but can you imagine seeing that coming after you?
See, this is one of the times that I wish I had not moved away, because I grew up an hour north of Fort Lauderdale, near Lake Okeechobee. That's my home state.
Well, it's down here now, but so we go back. After we chased the porches down, we decided it's time to go in. So we taken all the things, and there was one missing, and there'd been other people looking at them. So we're like, "Oh, we've lost it." Then Mike, the captain, goes, "Hey, look what's out there on the horizon. What's that?" "That's the buoy." And I was like, "I can't see a thing." And he said to the Institute guys, "Should we go and get that?" And I said, "Yeah, it's an expensive piece of equipment." So we go out and set off to sea to get it. And that was the hammerhead shark had taken it in 75 foot of water, taken it off the reef, and we were out in 220 foot of water, right? And that thing was dragging that weight and everything off to the Bahamas, off to sea. So we caught him and tagged him. Unbelievable. That was what a day. I can't. And then that photo that you showed, that was us coming back in after being out there with tagging sharks, and just absolutely, like, can't even explain. It was like being in the movie. And the boat moves exactly the same as the Orca when you see it. It rolls the same. The stern waves the same. It was just amazing. But we're going out again with the Institute. We're going to go out and tag some more sharks and stuff.
So question for you: Does Jack drive the boat cheap?
Jack's had a go driving it, but we were kind of zigzagging a little bit like this for some reason. I don't know whether that's how he drives, but
I think in the days of tall ships they called that tacking, didn't they?
Yeah, he was more than capable of driving it. But the thing is, that was our first ever, apart from going round to Vineyard Haven and back the next day. That was the first time. That was at sea trial when we went out there the other day. I'd never had it full throttle. I'd never been out for more than an hour, and we went out and I had the engine covers up. That's why I had the captain on board driving, because I was down checking the engine, checking the drivetrain, checking this, checking the gauges, just checking on everything all of the time. The pump, checking the pumps, kind of running around and helping out whatever they needed for the Institute guys and gals. So, but that was our sea trial. And I didn't know how much fuel it was going to use, because I don't even have fuel gauges wired up on it yet. You just got to get your head in the bilge and look at the tank.
Sure, that's right.
It's reliable.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, right? And in the words of Quint, I work for a living, right? This is a hobby.
Very nice.
I have a question for Jack.
Yeah.
Okay. What? So, I mean, like, what do your friends think about this? I mean, you're a very younger generation. What do they say about this? Are they fans, or do they just go, big woo? I mean,
They basically just go, eh. But some of
oh,
them, because some of them haven't watched the movie, they don't even really know. But some of them really like it because I have like photos of it and stuff that I show them. And I've told some of my teachers, they think it's really cool.
The Shark Institute. When we were out there, I'm running around, and basically next thing I see, Jack's down there, and he's tipping water on one of the sharks, and he's got the line, setting the lines. He basically just they jumped in, and they just said,
good
"What a
boy.
great!" He was
Good
right
boy.
in the thick of it. He was no
There you
hesitation.
go, Jack.
Good boy. There you go. That's awesome.
Jack, I'm sure you've probably heard it before, but buddy, what you're able to do and experience, going through this journey, with your father. Number one, he appreciates it way beyond what you can possibly imagine. And the fact that you guys are doing this together, I can tell you, not as a Jaws fan, but as a father myself, and anyone here who is a parent will agree with me that what you guys have and what you guys do and the time that you spend is nothing short of amazing.
He's
And
not a bad kid either.
we're all in all of that, buddy. So you should feel very proud about that. Yeah.
I do, definitely.
Good deal.
And it wouldn't have happened. This guy here, right? This thing would never have happened if it wasn't for him, because it almost went to the dump. The boat almost went to the dump, and only because he can wrap his mum round his little finger, right? Because she's like, get rid of the boat. And Jack used to be like, yeah, Dad, I'll buy you some more time. I'll go and have a word with it for you.
So all you got to do is stand behind him and pinch him, get a couple tears going. You can keep the
Oh
mood,
man.
right?
Yeah, but Mom, it's awesome. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. We got a couple other people chiming in. We got Hambone, David Hamlin chiming in saying, "Hey, good to hear that English accent one more again, once again." And we got James Scott saying the only thing I could build would be a Lego Orca. So
That was hard. That thing was impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first thing I ever did when I saw the movie. I went home on the night and built a Lego Orca out of tipped the bucket of Lego and built Orca on the night I saw the movie on the same night, and it didn't look like it, but I thought it did.
Did you build the Lego Orca yet, Jack?
I did, yes.
Well, Jack actually bought me a Lego Orca for my birthday, then built it for me, and then took it and put it in his bedroom on display for me. So, whose Lego Orca is it?
How long did it take?
I don't know, like 5 hours.
He's a Lego genius.
Yeah, that's good time.
That's really good.
Yeah.
hey,
I think I did it in like 3 days.
yeah, it took me like 4 days in a six pack if I remember correctly, because I couldn't do the math the first time. So there's been some additions to the boat, and the neat thing is and like you say, this is a work in progress. It wasn't like you built the boat, took it up for the 50th, and hurrah, the ride is over. This ride continues. Every time I turn around, every couple of weeks, you shoot me a picture or something like that. There are additions that have been done to the boat since we've all had the chance to come across the boat. And, I feel remiss if we didn't talk about some of these things. Here's one of the things. Here's one of the additions. Check out. We got the shark cage in the middle. We got on the left. We got those damn stern cleats that kept coming loose.
Yeah,
and a couple.
And the ladder as well. That's a new ladder. The old ladder was actually the other one was a dock ladder that I just ordered off Amazon just to have something on. And funnily enough, when Joe Alves, I was talking to him on the dock, and the guy's only 2'2". He's like down here, and I'm like, he goes, and that's not the correct ladder. I said, I know it's not. I said, it's lucky to even have a ladder on it, Joe. I said, that's a dock ladder. I said, it's nothing even close. I said, but it's better than not having a ladder. And he said, and it looks too clean as well. I said, well, the Orca looked when you just built it. I said, before you patented it. I said, and I've just built it. I said the same thing. I said, it's a work in progress. There he is. This was when he said, it's too small. And then this guy here with the cap, see the guy with the cap? That was he was doing a documentary about, and that's his film crew for the documentary. So he was there, and I said to Joe, do you want to get on the boat? And he said, sure. And he starts climbing down the ladder, and these guys go, no, Joe, you can't do that, liability and stuff. And I'm like, oh, whatever, okay, but he's got no insurance anyway. Then Joel's wife says, can I go on? I said, yeah, of course you can. So she goes down the ladder, straight up and up the mast without even.
Joel's wife.
I've got no insurance. Come down. It turns out later that she's a climber. She's like a accomplished climber, right? I didn't realize but she's an accomplished climber. She was like nothing to her, but she jumped on and straight up the mast. I got back and I said to Joe, I said, wow, I said, that's a pistol you've got there, Joe. And he goes, oh my goodness. He said, I don't know how to keep control of it. She said she gives me a heart attack.
She climbed Kilimanjaro, she said.
She said, yes, just come back. She just had her daughter just climbed Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had pictures rappelling over some cliffs and caves and stuff, and she's not 25.
Upside down?
Yeah.
Really?
Upside down.
Good.
And I trip on air. I mean, seriously.
Oh yeah, I told her my extreme sport's ping pong, and that gets crazy.
Listen, there's an old saying: if you want to be dumb, you got to be tough. And I do some fun, little bit kind of considered hairy things, but I am not going to be doing that. I can tell you that. Dear God.
Well,
crying like a baby on it.
I booked my trip to Everest next year.
Man, I couldn't do it, Jack.
I saw Everest at Disney. That's about as close as I'm going to get.
Yeah. Well, we're rocking. We're actually rocking. I don't know whether you can see with the light. We're rocking about because it's a bit.
I do
windy.
see it. Yeah.
Somebody even commented and said even the light is moving just like it did in the movie. So yeah.
There it is. Look at that.
That's cool.
Moving around.
Well, let's hit on a couple other people that happen to stop in and see your boat.
Oh.
Wow.
There he is, Hooper.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we've even got a. Let me pull this out of here. I believe I've got a video clip of Hooper on the boat. Let me pull one of those in here for you guys if you don't mind. Let me see here.
In the meantime, I'll drink to your leg.
Here we go.
We started alone.
Yeah, you cool.
Heaven went right to my head. Oh, where I roam. Land or sea or home. You'll always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Had a little drink about an hour ago and it went right to my head. No matter where I roam, on land, on sea or foam, you'll always hear me singing a song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. Amazing. And went right to my head. Where I roam, on land or sea or foam, you will always hear me singing a song. Show me the way to go home.
That's
amazing. That's amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
I can't believe he was sitting here. I can't, but it was surreal. That's all I can say.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
That, by the way, we tried to get Richard on the board. We tried to get him on the board, but as you saw in Martha's Vineyard, the tide was a big tide on it, and we couldn't get him because he has trouble with his legs and stuff, and he's got really bad arthritis. We couldn't get him on the board, and that was the last night. And they said we want to get him on the board, and me and Nick scrambled. We tied the transom of the board tight to the dock, right? And we got some
containers,
and basically me and Nick just he wanted to walk on the board on his own. He didn't want it to be lifted on, but me and Nick got one side of him, and I got the other, and we kind of drifted him down onto the board.
I saw a picture of you guys kind of more or less just trying to, pick him up and carry him on the boat. I mean, the worst part of getting on a boat is getting off the dock and on the boat. Not so much being on the boat, but yeah, I can imagine that was a little.
Well, that was all Nick. Nick was making stuff like that happen because Nick was. Without Nick, right, it would have been like really hard. I wouldn't have been able to leave the boat or anything. He's a bit of an unsung hero. I mean, he wasn't having a good time on the board.
Stop it!
He really is. Listen, every day that I went past there, he was there. I mean, really. I mean, I just assumed until I talked to him that he came up with you guys. I had no idea what the connection was. So.
Well, there was a little group of the homeless. They're not really homeless, but they hang out in the street all day. Those guys hang out there and play chess all day. I thought you were about to say you thought I was just one of those guys.
No.
I mean, good. One wrong turn.
I just assumed that you came up from Florida and whatever, lifelong friend with Mike, and so it was obvious.
Well, you can't shake me now.
Yeah, lifelong.
Too late, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can't shake me now.
Solidified.
Oh, it was. I mean, Mike's the hero. I'm just a tag along on it. I just watched the boat and talked about Jaws with people. It wasn't torture by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I took the week off work to hang out of the boat all day, and I'll do it again. Mike, offers out there.
Come on down. I wanted you to come down. Nick actually,
I know, yeah.
I took her back up to Connecticut for the Maritime Festival up there, and Nick got off late on the night, and Nick jumped on his motorbike. The weather was horrendous. I mean, like rain. It was cold, windy. He jumped on his motorbike and drove from Martha's Vineyard down to Connecticut, down to London.
Yeah, New London.
New London. He drove down his bike. When he got there, right, he had his boat. He picked his boat, took his boots off, and tipped. His boots were full. He tipped the boots out full of water in the boots.
It was wet. Definitely wet. My leather jacket is still drying.
Hey. We had Rebello on, and he was telling us that because he had headed down for that you were going to be there for the anniversary of the Navy. So yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. He said because we had him on. It was like, what was it, guys? A week or two prior, I think.
Yeah, it was either prior or a week out. It was one side of that. Pretty quick. Yeah, I saw him. He'd packed up. I mean, the last day was just a complete wash, and he wasn't able to do anything that day. So
sure. Yeah,
but it was wet.
Well, it was. They actually closed. They shut it down because the weather was so bad that they actually cancelled the festival on the last day. So I'm like, okay, then whatever. We're tied on the dock in the marina there, and we were getting slammed. Right, the boat was lurching up and down, and it was pretty rough, even though we were tied to the dock. So I'm sat on the boat, and then I look out, and there's a queue of people. This is raining sideways, right, and windy, and there's a queue of people on the dock, the other side of the fence. So I rang the lady who was running the show. I said, listen, I know you've shut the show down, but there's people on the dock wanting to see the boat. Is it okay if I let them in? And she said, go ahead, do it. And it was was horrendous, the weather, and they still came in droves, even though the
Yeah.
show had been cancelled. They still came down, and the dock that they stand on to look at the Orca was lifting up about, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half. Like the whole dock was like this, and they're all standing there in the rain, and just did on some lady, she comes on the dock, and she's like, "Listen, I'm glad." I said, "Oh, we nearly shut it down." She said, "I was worried you weren't still going to be here." She said, "We've just driven for 6 hours. Me and my daughter have just driven for 6 hours. It's my daughter's birthday today." And I told her that I had a birthday surprise for her. I didn't tell her what it was. Her daughter's a massive Jaws fan. She drove her all the way down there, brought her to the edge of the dock, right, covered her eyes and said, "Ta-da!" and drove
You gotta be kidding.
for her daughter's
Oh my
birthday.
God, what a birthday gift that is.
A magical moment must that have been.
And I'm like, and obviously no insurance again, but she got to go on the board. Obviously, after that, you can't say no when they've driven for 6 hours in the rain.
You know, talking about fan reactions, Michael. When I came to Martha's Vineyard, it was on Thursday the 19th, and just coming right off the ferry in Oak Bluffs, driving off the ferry, and I look to my right and I see the mast of the Orca. I freaked out. I said to my wife, "That's the Orca." I literally almost crashed into this big garbage bin. I just pulled over and got out, and I took that video that got 50,000 views on TikTok. And like Jamie was saying before, as a fan, to see the Orca in person and like just to imagine the amount of work that you put into it for, you know, for yourself and your son, but for the fans. As a fan, it was extraordinary just to be there. This is 5 minutes after arriving on the island. I'm standing on the dock looking at the Orca. So as a fan, thank you.
Listen, that makes it worthwhile. I took it up there for the fans, basically. I took it up there so that, because there was talk about having we're rocking about a bit now.
I see it rocking.
There was talk about having a paid event, right, where people would have to pay to see it in a private hotel and everything. And it was going to be $250 a head, right, to go and have your picture taken with the Orca. And then I kind of said, well, okay, after the event, how does the general public get in to see the boat then? And they said, well, they have to pay $100 because it's in a closed marina to get in to take a picture. And I'd already signed the contract at that point, and I was going to get paid for that. And I basically said, no, absolutely no way is anybody going to be paying. In fact, I'll take it there on my own dime, and nobody will pay a cent to see it, right? If I have to moor it off in the marina or just whatever, I will show that boat, and it will not cost the fans a cent to see it. And I made that decision, and I stuck by it, because people were saying, put a bucket on the dock and take donations, or I'll pay you to come on the boat. And I said, I don't want anything for it. I'm sticking to the mantra that it's not going to cost anybody a cent. Well, apart from yours truly, of course, but I have the boat still, so it doesn't matter to me, because it's all, I still have the boat. But that I didn't want it to cost anything for anybody to see it. That was the idea. And that spot where I was in Martha's Vineyard, that's somebody's spot for the summer, right? The harbour master, first lady, woman harbour master, she donated that spot to me for a week. And the guy, and she said, you'll have to move along and then pay for a spot further along. I said, that's fine, whatever. So I'm getting the boat ready to go. We're getting the boat ready to move it for the guy to come into his spot. And this guy comes to the dock and he goes, are you moving the boat? I said, yeah, this is somebody's spot. We're moving it. I'm going to just go a few spots up there. Give us a few minutes to do it. And he just said, keep it exactly where it is there. This is my spot. He said, just leave it where it is. I'll go further up the marina. I said, are you sure? He said, stay there as long as you want. He said, I've got the Orca in my spot. And then I said, well, come back and I'll show you the boat later. The guy's name was Terry. And I never saw him again. But he basically said to me, stay there as long as you want. That was his spot. So the people, it touches, there's something magical about it, right? It touches people in different ways and that, but it's hard to explain. There's a connection with a lot of people.
That's what I was about to say, because you have to realize there's a lot of people that have gone to the island prior to the 50th. whether it was Mike and I at Jaws Fest or people just go on their own and visit. You bringing the Orca there is like the missing piece. This has made it complete for a lot of us fans because it is a very important part of the film. And that is just magical right there.
Oh my gosh.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're 100% right.
Yeah,
but I
because
didn't.
that's the missing piece.
From an Islanders perspective, that is what this island has been missing, at least my whole life. So,
Because I mean, we've gone to the sites, we've gone to the Jaws Bridge, we've seen the breakaway dock, we've gone around, we've seen the people, we've talked to the people, such as Todd Rebellida, but seeing that boat, there it is, seeing that boat for the first time, getting that feeling was the complete circle for everyone.
Oh, the Islanders, right? Talking of Nick and talking of the Islanders. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. They were so nice. One of the ladies and the guy in the house over, they came over and said, "Mike, this is fantastic," and his son Jack. And I said, "Oh, we're living on board." And then her and her husband went back. Then he comes back about 20 minutes later. The husband, he goes, "Oh, my wife's just told me I feel so rude." She said, "Do you and Jack want to come and stay in the spare room in our house or use the shower or anything like that?" I said, and I'm like, "No, we're good. We've got a toilet and stuff." I said, "But we could do with some washing doing." And she said, "I'll do your washing for you." And I said, "Look, you can't be touching. We've been on the road for 4 days." She goes, "Don't be so crazy." She said, "I've got 3 grown boys. If there's nothing I haven't seen, bring your washing over." And they were doing our washing for us. It was like, it was not just them. Then other people were offering, and there were the Islanders, and even the guys what Nick was on about who play chess and that. They're not homeless, but they have a little bit of a drink and stuff. I bought them, buy them breakfast and stuff, and go and sit and talk to them, and it was just fantastic. The whole thing was, and me and Jack showered in the communal showers where all the homeless people shower. Me and Jack walked along and paid $5 for a shower in there. And one of the homeless,
down the end there.
He goes, "Hey, Mike, listen, if you go in the shower on the end and turn it on really slow, you don't have to put $5 in it. It's free."
You know all the tricks.
I said, "We're all right. We've still got enough money for a shower." So then, next thing I know, Jack's in the shower next to me, and Jack comes up and he goes, "Hey, I checked that shower out on the end. He's right. It runs for free."
Nice.
Well, and Nick, you could definitely give us more detail on that. But usually, when I'm on the island, we're almost always there for the Harbor Fest, which is always a fun event.
Yeah.
But that day, having the boat there, it was an absolute madhouse. And I'm walking down through it, and Marty Milner's calling my name out. He was sitting on the bench, and I went over. I sat and I was talking to him, and I look over, and you got people lined up at the Gansett tent, and Kramer's there, Dreyfus is there. I mean, anyone and everyone was just kind of there hanging out, and the place was just an absolute mob fest. I mean, it was the busiest I've ever seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. As far as Harbor Fest goes, that was insane. That was, I mean, logistically, sticking that Richard Dreyfuss in the middle of Harbor Fest was probably could have been a little thought out better, but I mean, it was incredible. That was one of the coolest days of my life. There was some guy tried to charge Richard Dreyfuss, and I don't know if you got the chance to meet Richard's wife, but she is like the most powerful, intimidating woman I ever met. And me and her just grabbed this. This guy was probably like 6 foot, 230 pounds or so, and I'm 5'8", 135 pounds, and me and her, and me is kind of just to make her sound like a team, but she did it all. Just grabbed this guy, just turned. He took like 4 steps, turned, and just tried to charge at him, and just grabbed him. It was, taking advantage of the crowd, and everyone's attention is all scattered everywhere. But it was a great time.
Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss's wife. She's she's a pistol. She,
Oh,
I,
she is, yeah.
I got in a fight with her the first time I met her. I got in a fight with her, believe it or not. I didn't know it was Richard Dreyfuss's
God.
wife. I had t-shirts up in the Narragansett pub. I had 3 of my t-shirts up there, and I'm on the boat, and Nick comes and says, "Hey, some woman's just gone in there, and she's just pulled your t-shirts down and thrown them on the floor and put the Dreyfuss t-shirts up in the place." And I said, "Seriously?" So I go on the dock. I said, "Well, I'll sort this out, Nick." So I go on the dock, and she's there, and I said, "Hey, what's going on? Why are my t-shirts on the floor like that?" And she goes, "I am with the drink. This is our booth." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "We put the booth up, and your guests here." I said, "How about I'll have 1 hanger and you have 2?" And then she gets all of the shirt, and she pulls it up the hanger. She goes, "Give your hangers," and snaps the hanger in 2. And then I said, "Oh, hold down a minute." I said, "Where are you from? Russia?" She goes, "No, I'm from former Soviet Union, not Russia." I said, "Well, listen, you're in America now. We don't do things like this in America. We share." And I said, we've only got 2 hangers. I said, "So you have 1 and I'll have the other. How about that? That's compromise." She goes, "Okay, good." I said, "And you owe me a coat hanger." I said, "And don't be stealing one from the hotel neither." She said, "Tomorrow." Right, and then after that, she comes over and she gives me a big bear hug, and she goes, "I like this guy. I like him."
Nice.
Yeah. You got to be tough with her to get her respect.
Oh yeah, she's
yeah.
Gotta earn it.
I'll tell you, I've known her for, gosh, almost a decade, and she is the smartest woman I've ever met.
She's so nice.
Sharp. She is sharp as a tack. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to be posting it at some point, but I have a video. I found one of the videos that Jack
No.
me and Richard Dreyfuss and his wife sitting talking here.
The lost tapes.
She's on there, and I'm gonna post that. He said I could. I'm gonna post that on one of the Instagram or whatever, and you'll see what a sweetheart she is, because she's great. We're sitting talking here, and it was just it's just nice. She's in the background, but I'd like people to see her in the foreground. So, but it was just, the whole thing was just, I didn't know it was his wife when I'm arguing about a coat hanger with her. I wouldn't have. But it was. And she brought me a coat. She brought me 2 coat hangers, by the way. She said, "And these are not from the hotel."
She gave me a beach towel. She got a beach towel to cover Richard in, and I told her after she got it, I said, "I can hang the side on the tent if you want to give him some shade." And she said, "Oh, here." She said, "Ricky, sign this for my boy," and gave me the beach towel.
No kidding. Oh, that's cool. That's great.
Your cap, didn't he try and liberate that cap off you that you had on?
Oh yeah. The hat from Steve. Yeah, Richard. She wanted me to give Richard my hat. I said, "He can borrow it, but he can't have it."
Speaking of Richard Dreyfuss's hat, real quick, these guys know that when we were at the Let's Talk Joe's live event, and he came in wearing the Matt Hooper hat. After the event, I went up to him and I offered him $50 for the hat, and he took my $50 bill, bid it, and then he gave me the hat. And I have his hat that he wore at that event. Yeah. And I heard later that his wife was angry at him because it was a hot day and he was going to get sunburn on his head, and he gave away his hat. So
yeah. Well, that explains why he was wearing my hat the next day.
That's why he wanted yours. There it is.
That's why.
I got the OG hat.
Yep. No, I just loaned him mine.
Didn't he sign it though? Did he sign it?
No. Joe Alf signed it. Joe's wife. I was talking to Joe's wife while he was signing, and at the end, she just took my hat and gave it to him and said, "Sign that." Which I was kind of disappointed at. I love the hat. I wanted to wear it now. Now I
got to hang it up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It sits on the t-shirt.
Nice. Well, I have one final last question as we're digging in here. I have one last question. Anyone else? So, and a lot of people are asking questions pertaining to this. There's the hat. Yeah, that was at our show on the 19th when he came in.
I'm gonna put it in a case, but that's the hat he was wearing when he came in. Best $50 I ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, because then you got to wear my hat after that.
There you go.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Reaction.
So my last question, at any rate, is, and there's a lot of people that are asking questions over on the pages pertaining to this, is where does it go from here? I got people asking questions. Has Universal offered to buy the boat? Are you looking to do more with the boat? Do you have any set plans as far as what's going on? Are you just trying to just enjoy this and continue to share it with the rest of the community?
Well, yeah, lots and lots of stuff going on. Nothing I can really like nail down, but let's just say I'm in discussions with Universal Studios for going in there this year for 3 months in Orlando.
Oh wow!
Discussions
Oh, I'll have to let my sister know. That's where she lives.
in the lagoon where they used to do a show, but it's only discussions at the moment. So
Make them pay through the nose, Michael. Make them pay through the nose.
you know what? It's in my interest to show it to people. But what am I going to do? I've just the reason I brought the boat back to Fort Lauderdale was because there was stability problems with it because I put a big mast on it, I put a smaller engine. You've got to remember, I built this thing. I rebuilt the boat from scratch. Right, the boat was a basket case. I rebuilt the hull, the keel, everything, and I moved the cabin forward. So I brought it back because I had to get a full marine survey on it, and I had to get a stability test to get the insurance. So I spent a lot of time and money on ballasting it, bolting weights to the keel. I had it out at a friend in a shipyard. So I've been actually working on getting it certified, but now it's certified for unlimited charters with up to 11 passengers.
Oh,
That only happened.
there you go.
Okay.
Or whatever. So then we went out on the shark trip. That's the first time we went out after I got the certification. But now I'm working. I work for a living. And it's here. But what am I going to do with it? I'm going to go back out tagging some more sharks and things. Probably and Greg Scormel. You know Greg Scormel. He wants me to take. He wants to go out and tag some great white sharks up north with it.
Oh man, yeah, to go out with the Atlantic White Shark Conservatory. That would be amazing.
And there was talk about wanting it up at the tall ships as well, up in Boston, and also at the 250th anniversary in New York as well. There was.
Please let me know when you're in New York.
But I never thought of that. I didn't think this far ahead, right? I didn't know that it was going to be. But what am I heading for? I've had some people wanting to buy it as well, like some billionaires and millionaires who've offered me stupid, ridiculous money for it. I'm not going to name any names, but there's people who want to buy it. And
Spielberg?
No, Spielberg hasn't been on it yet, but that's a matter of time, I think. But we got schmoozed off one of them, and Jack basically said it's not for sale, and he said, well, you can sell it, you can get yourself a brand new center console or whatever. And Jack's like, nah. And I'm like, well, it's not for sale. And he's like, everything's for sale. And I'm like, not at the moment, it's not. And then I had at the boat show, I did in the boat show here, and I had owners of big yacht companies coming and trying to buy it off me, and it's not for sale at the moment. I know that's hard to believe, and people say that. And let me just say, I was offered over $1 million for it. So,
wow.
What am I going to?
I wouldn't tell your wife that either.
And I'm looking at, and I've actually gone through the process of looking into actually building them right, a fiberglass version which will look exactly the same, but I've just got the numbers back to actually be able to build them. But is that what I want to do? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I want to get out there. I want to just go out and enjoy it. That's at the moment. Where we are in the marina in the corner, it's really hard to get out there. I don't have a boat there. And Nick, how hard is this thing to park it?
I mean, in an open slip with nobody on the sides, not easy. In the corner with yachts
I couldn't imagine.
worth more than I'll see in my lifetime, impossible.
Yeah, it's a very scary process bringing it. If it's blown as well, it's a very scary process putting it back on in the corner of the marina. So I'm getting some. I'm looking at getting some bow thrusters for it. They're actually water jet bow thrusters, like which I'm going to fit, and also a Seakeeper, which will. It's a gyroscope that goes in the board that actually keeps it. So I'm in the process of trying. If I can get the Seakeeper in them, then I'll be out on it all the time. And I've got people wanting to charter it. If I get that point, then it'll be available for charters. And believe me, the phone is ringing off the hook of people wanting to take it out on a charter. And we can go fishing. We'll be able to go fishing on it. We were fishing for sharks on it off Fort Lauderdale. So who knows? I'm going to see where the wind blows me, basically. But there's plenty of other things. But it's here. It is here in Fort Lauderdale. It lives. This is its home in Pier 66. I brought it here for the boat show, and the owners of the hotel and the manager of the hotel. I said, "What do I do after the show? What do you want me to do with the shark cage on the dock?" And he said, "Leave the shark cage there, leave the boat there, and consider this home." And I'm like, "What? What?" So this is the boat lives here now. So anybody who wants to see it, it's an open marina. You just come to the hotel and you can view the boat. You can walk along the side of it on the dock. You can look in the windows. If I'm here, if I'm here and I'm around, you can come on board and you can take a look because I have the insurance now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to let people enjoy it. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it out there. We'll see what happens with the universal thing. And I'm open to any suggestions. You tell me.
Come back. Come back to Martha's Vineyard.
Love to have you at SharkCon in July. I know you couldn't make it last year. We'd love to have you at SharkCon next year.
Well, she could be. If the universal thing pulls up, it's going to be up there until after the first week of July, right? And then it's freed up again if that happens. So then that means I'll miss the tall ships and stuff. But to tell you the truth, I don't relish the fact of putting this thing on a trailer and driving it up there again because I've done that twice, right? This boat's done more miles on the trailer than it has in the water. It's a lot of miles. I think I've done over 7,000 miles with this board behind my truck on a trailer.
What is it?
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, back. It's so. What am I going to? I'm exploring options, but at the moment, I'm working to get the money together to be able to afford it because I'm not. Nobody's. This is 100% mine and 12% here and 50%.
That's right.
That's it. This is the owners of the Orca, and that's how it'll remain.
I see a future boat charter captain sitting there.
I have a captain. I have the guy who came out with me when we went out Shark Tag, and he said he will he's licensed everything. He said he will take people out on charters. He's a fisherman. He's from around here. He's really he's into Jaws, so maybe it might be available for charters or events. Or I didn't think we would ever get it built. Never mind. It's been a roller coaster, and it's basically I need to step back for 5 minutes because this has consumed me and Jack for the last year. We've done nothing but this, right? We were out in the garage till 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning after I finished work, going out there and working with flashlights and building. Jack helped me build all of this, the panel and the floors. He wasn't just there. So we've been consumed by it. So I need 5 minutes just to kind of get my life back a little bit, to tell you the truth.
I can imagine that. I'm sure it hasn't really slowed down since probably the beginning of summer for you guys.
Not at all. But then again, at the same time, I live 20 minutes from here. And when I walk along the dock and I'm looking back over my shoulder, I'd live on board the boat. I'd spend every living hour here, right? Don't get me wrong. I can't. It's not that I want to be here. We love it. We come down to the boat all of the time, but I just don't get time so much with work. But it is available for everybody to look at, and it's free to look at, right? It's not, it won't cost you to come and look and take pictures. I have the shark cage on the dock. You can go in the shark cage and take a picture as well. So
I'll
what
gladly
am I
send you
saying?
$100, Michael. I'll gladly send you $100 to come down.
I don't, listen, I'm not, I might look like it, but I'm not exactly on the, as we say in England, I'm not on the bones of my ass. I'm not, not exactly, I've got a successful business and everything, right? My biggest commodity, right, that I have is time, right? Don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. And with Jack's going to get his diving certification because he's going to be going out with the guy, the doctor Chris Malkovich, who's the shark doc. He was on the shark docs on the Shark Files, whatever. He's going to mentor Jack, right, and take him diving.
No
And
kidding.
Nice.
he's going to be involved. That for me, if nothing else happens, the fact that if we can be involved in that, when I can be involved with Jack in preservation, I've won. I've won all the way. I don't need to really charter it. The only thing for chartering is so that I can share it with people, like share the experience and let people, let them, because I'm numb to it, right? I'm sitting here and I'm sitting on the Orca. It still blows my mind, but I'm kind of numb to it a little bit now, and I'm forgetting that there's people who would give anything to sit on board this boat, never mind go out for a ride on it, right? And I forget that, and it's, let's put it this way: if I hadn't built this, and you've got Gage Tedder who's building there, you know Gage, he's building. Yeah. Well, Gage came down to the boat show and came on board, and he had his girlfriend with him and stuff, and I just happened to cross the finish line before he did with this one, right? So he came down and he brought me a shark dart, and he brought me some gifts and stuff. And he was looking and he was like, before he left, he said, "Oh, one more thing. Can I ask you a big favor?" And I said, you can ask. He said, "Can I go up the mast?" I said, "Get yourself away." I said, your own risk, but go for it. And I could see him up there, and I could see him going like, because when you're up there, it looks exact when you're looking down, right? I've got to take some videos. It's the Orca, right? It looks exactly the same. The same view, the same. When you take a picture of this from the dock, it doesn't do it justice because a normal camera makes it look really skinny, but it's not. When you get a view from up top, you see that this actually has a fat belly. It's really not. It's the same shape as the Orca, right? The transom is the same width. On the back, by the way, that transom is the same width. That's the width, the exact width. So anybody people are like, "Oh no, the Orca was 40 foot and it had a 10-foot transom and it was 14-foot beam." No, absolutely not, right? And I can verify that because I've built it. And I've scaled everything and I know exactly. And then I worked along with Court with his interior, and Court came on here. By the way, Court, what a nice guy. He helped me fix it. Turns out he's a Yanmar technician and engineer, right? He comes on the board because I was having the gearbox problems, and he brings me Quint's toolbox, right, on the board. And I said, "Oh, you brought the tools," and he puts the toolbox down. I said, "That's Quint's toolbox." He goes, "Yeah." So I'm in the engine compartment, and he's back there. And I said, because I was playing with the linkages. I said, "What do you think? We put it into gear." He said, "Mike, it looks fine." And I was down there, and I said, "You can see that the salt water start the injector from down here." And he's in the hatch back here, and he's going, "Yeah, the housing's bent." Then when he left the boat, he jumps off the boat, and I said, "Hey, Cod, you forgot your toolbox." And he goes, "Mike, that's yours. That's a gift for the Orca from me to you. You gave me Quint's toolbox."
Wow.
What a nice guy. What a just a really nice guy. And his interior, you went in his interior at the museum. You saw that. That was outstanding, right? I mean, the attention to detail and everything on that, it was just, and he built that in his basement.
Yeah.
That was, and I kind of felt bad because if I didn't take the Orca there, I overshadowed him a little bit, right? Because if I hadn't have taken the Orca there, his would have been front and center, like the thing. Not that it wasn't, but I kind of feel a bit bad from stealing some of his thunder on it because it was nothing short of amazing. And the guy's like amazing as well.
Well, and that kind of goes along with what we often say and of what I've been saying tonight. The caliber and the character of the people that we tend to see and we have in this community have pretty much all been outstanding. And he just happened. That was a perfect example. We looked at that, and I even had that talk with him after he had come down and fixed the boat with you because I was up visiting with him. He was set up at the museum, and I said, I just want to tell you how cool that was that the two of you got together. He came over to help you out. You were having trouble with the boat. That very easily could have been a bit of contention and competition, and there was none. And I just think that really speaks bounds about you guys and about the people in the community that we tend to come across. Just amazing individuals, selfless people.
Of course it is, and I didn't. I went to the island kind of blind, really, because I was working right building this. I wanted to go up there and scope out where it was going to go and everything, and I didn't get a chance to do that, right? So when I turned up, I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know I knew Nick and met him when we got there, and he scoped out the shipyard and made sure everything was okay at the shipyard and stuff. But there was some missed opportunity as well, right? Because and also the boat wasn't working. We were going to go. I was going to take the boat to Menemsha. I was supposed to take Joe Alves on the boat to Menemsha with his film crew, but the boat was broken, and I was supposed to go to Edgartown with it as well. But in hindsight, I could have got that. I could have got the Orca in the lagoon behind the museum when they were showing when you were in the museum with showing the video. Nick said that the Orca would have draft wise and everything. We could have put the Orca as a backdrop there when the museum event was on. How cool would that have been?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Unreal.
Yeah, but
that would have been nothing short of amazing.
It would have been, but I don't think it turned out too bad because it was all just done kind of just off the cuff, and I think it turned out pretty well. Even with the fact that I couldn't move the boat. Couldn't go anywhere because it was broken, and I didn't fix it until like after the event, basically, when we fixed it and we went out and did a little bit of a drone shot and stuff.
Yeah, the second week.
Yeah, was that the second week? Yeah,
it was the second week. I think we took it out.
I was going to say, I remember you guys did get it up and running. And to be honest with you, as much as, that's what I had heard. We were supposed to get Edgartown and do a couple different things. And then, once you were sidelined, you were more or less kind of stuck there at the harbor. I'll be honest with you. I think from a fan standpoint, that was the best location for that to be because you were smack dab in the middle. You were in, you were in Shark City. You were in the harbor where the sharks were kept, 50 years ago. You were in Oak Bluffs, in between, Edgartown and heading, further out and stuff. And everyone passed through there, whether they were heading up to Vineyard Haven, whether they were going down to see the Jaws Bridge down in Edgartown. You were smack dab in the middle of it. And I really think that it was able to reach a lot more people due to the fact that you were there. And how fitting was it that you're sitting next to Nancy's, and there's an enormous shark mounted on the front of the restaurant. This huge mako, and literally sitting there next to the Orca. I can't tell you how many people I would overhear saying, "Did you see that? Is that the Orca?" I mean, the entire time. I was staying right up at the end of town there, and I thought it was the best thing you could have done. I really did.
There was another boat pulled in, a newer boat, but it was called the Orca as well. Do you remember that, Nick? There were a couple of
I have a picture. I have a picture of it.
Yeah,
really?
Another boat.
But that in Connecticut too. That happened.
Oh, really?
In Connecticut, so we're on the dock. It's really rough. This boat pulls in, and nobody should have been out on the boat. Really, it was so rough. This boat pulls in, and it's a lady and the wife, and they had the kid, didn't they? Didn't they call the kid Hooper or something?
Yeah, they called the kid.
Yeah, the baby. Yeah.
The boat was called the Orca, and their baby was called Hooper.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Unbelievable. Well, gentlemen, I hate to slowly bring this to a close. It has been nothing shy of a magical evening. first of all, having you guys back on here and being able to talk with you guys again, because I haven't seen you guys since June. Other than a couple of messages across social media. Great hearing the story of the boat, hearing your experience, and honestly, hearing that this is going to continue in one form or another, one capacity or another. And you guys at home, if you haven't had a chance to see it, try and make a chance. And I'm sure that Mike, you could probably maybe let us know if plans come to fruition. We would love to put it across the pages for people to go see, for people to visit. And he also has he's got a new shirt that he shared with us earlier tonight, and he's got a website. And so he's going to share that with me. I will post it across both of our Jaws pages for everyone to see. Jump on there, check it out. Grab yourself an Orca shirt.
I like that shirt, man. I want that shirt.
There you go.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. Nick's got a black one on right there. And
Definitely gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Nick,
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, are you going for an interview or something? You look rather cleaned up there.
Yeah, no, I had to shave. I had to shave for the interview.
You look great.
Yeah, likewise, everyone, you guys.
Nate, thanks for this is my first time ever on a live podcast, by the way. Thanks for this. This is great. I love it.
Well, listen, I would love to continue it. We would love to have you on again sometime. And I'm being very serious about that. You guys, all three of you, have an open invitation. We would love to have you on again.
Anytime.
A lot of people still throwing a couple of comments and asking a couple questions about this. And it's been simply magical. And I don't know if you know how we wrap things up here, but we do a little fins up here instead of saying goodbye. Just our little thing to do. And we're going to let Quint take us out this evening. So I want to thank all you guys for coming on here and hanging out.
Thank you.
Time with us. Yeah. And broadcasting from the boat, Nick, you hopping on and hanging out with us from Edgartown. I want to thank everyone at home for hopping on and listening. And if you did not catch the whole show or you missed some of the details and some of the stories, it will be across our YouTube channel. Doesn't get a lot of traffic, but everything is cataloged there. Mayor Vaughn Productions, hop on there and you will see this. It'll be on as soon as we're off tonight. And look for information across the pages. Look for the websites and any other information we can get for you guys. And hey, it's been real. This has been absolutely nothing shy of amazing. It's bringing back a lot of nostalgia from June for all of us.
Well,
so thank you very much.
You were sitting here, don't forget.
I really was. In fact, I wasn't gonna do that, but if I have to, I've got the picture too. There we go.
Nice.
I was doing my best Hooper impression that morning with you guys, so that was an awful lot of fun.
That's great.
There's the donuts.
Hey.
Ooh, those donuts look good.
You had Wendy Benchley on there the other week. What a lovely lady. She came on the board as well. But loads more stories to tell and stuff. But thanks again for hosting us. Fantastic.
Well,
absolutely.
Listen, if I can be the mouthpiece for an awful lot of people, you three, along with that boat, made an awful lot of memories and fulfilled a lot of dream come trues for an awful lot of people this summer. And what you're seeing here is just a small piece of evidence of that. And the three of you guys should be incredibly proud of what you've done and the connections you've made and the happiness you put out there for people. And I'm here to tell you that because you're looking at a couple of guys that are grinning ear to ear, and we each cherish our time there together and spending the time with you guys as well. In fact, Mike, that was why I asked you to take the picture with us, because just had such a wonderful time, and just want to thank you guys very much. It was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you guys, yeah.
What a backdrop.
Thanks, Mike and Jack.
Hey, Nick, I miss you, man.
I miss you every day.
Yeah, every day.
For the crowd.
All right, we're gonna have Quint take us out, folks. We want to thank everyone for coming on. Have yourselves a wonderful week, and we will be back. Here we go. Have a great one.
Swimming with bow-legged women too.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston, and so never more shall we see you again.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
We're still here.
Oh.